From her excellent directorial debut with Booksmart, Olivia Wilde returns with a new flick, Don't Worry Darling, a story that isn't one to seem as what it looks to be on the surface, as it takes a strange turn within.
Keep calm and carry on. I gave you all of this, Alice!
It's all about control.
Whose world is this? Alice!
Don't Worry Darling follows Alice and Jack, who are lucky to be living in a 1950s idealized community of Victory, an experimental company town housing unit. All of this is run by their CEO of the Victory Project, Frank, who is a corporate visionary and motivational life coach that is the leader to what is every aspect of the daily life in this tight-knit desert utopia. And so, while the husbands spend every day inside the Victory Project headquarters working, their wives get to spend their time enjoying the beauty and luxury of their community, as their lives couldn't be more perfect.
Welcome to the Victory Project.
We're all here because we believe in the mission.
What are we doing?
Changing the world.
What are we doing?
Changing the world.
This film is very peculiar, as not everything is as it seems on the surface for this movie. From looks like a sweet romantic film, turns into this psychological socialist body horror that tries to be mind-bending in its own form. Though through topical usages of conformity, people being condescending to each other, degrading and belittling Alice and the delusions she is having, to then taking control and going backwards into old socialist ways of living. This film has the potential to provide an impactful message for its audience, but whilst these all make for a great premise for this movie, it fails to fully be able to deliver upon that, as those topical themes are almost presented in a half-done way, as most of it was there, but is then left into interpreting and deciphering the answer to all of it and how it properly plays into the film on your own. It becomes odd as it provides a strong idea but fails to be able to fulfill creating the complete message of the film overall.
Please, what's actually happening?
Stop it, Alice.
What if this place is dangerous? What if
Then with that, this film manages to be not all that bad. Whilst it does have the lack of detail in providing its message in a way that can be told in a cohesive way for it to be understood, the film manages to be pretty good for the most part. From the wonderful production design that really cements itself within its theming, to the lavish lifestyle that these characters live, it manages to be fulfilled with so much connection towards what it's trying to tell, as it proceeds to be a mostly well-made flick. There's stunning performances from throughout this fantastic cast, with Florence Pugh and Chris Pine really taking the spotlight as they shine on screen through their fantastic performances. Pugh really takes it up a notch from the many other things she's done in the past, and she really takes herself into this roller coaster of emotions throughout her performance that creates such tension when you watch her on screen. Whilst Pine has this devilishly mischievous performance that feels so dark and powerful that you can feel the presence of his character on screen having cruel intentions.
There are only so many different stories that we're told. We're told what we remember until we try to remember things that they want us to forget. Like Margaret.
Alice. No. Jack. It's okay. I'm curious to hear where she's going with this.
Although, whilst this movie comes along with an interesting premise, it overall failed to come together in the final cut. With the idea of using topics and idealistic values in a socialist town, it leaves you with the expectations of interpreting the film's message on your own based on the vague details it gave you, overall making it leave itself with a broad message upon what it was trying to relate to, ultimately failing to convey what it set out to be. And whilst followed by great performance all around from the amazing cast, especially from Chris Pine and Florence Pugh, it becomes really peculiar on how a movie that had an amazing cast, premise that has commentary that provides relation to today's world, fails to come across in the end.
Our life together. We could lose this.
I don't trust him. And I don't want to be here anymore.